run our intro or anything?
Yeah, go for it. We're live.
Oh,
Do it.
okay. All right. Well, DBR here. Welcome to the Hamityville Horror. Thank you for visiting. I am Clint,
I am Don.
and we are here for a very special event. Now, this movie, Rubber, from 2010,
Uh,
has been requested more than once on our page, and
More than
I,
once.
yeah,
Awkward.
and strangely enough, I can recall other people saying that they had seen this movie, and people are very cagey about whether or not they think it's good. And although I have heard people say that they like this movie,
I'm
um,
cagey about whether I think it's good.
right now, anybody who hasn't seen it, I would encourage you to go see it.
Yes.
This is going to be completely full of spoilers, so I mean, just going to put that out up front.
Yes.
I watched it for free on demand on
Well,
Plex.
I watched it on
So,
Tubi.
oh, did you? Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
it's on Tubi now.
Uh huh.
Okay. Well, I guess it wasn't the first time I watched it, but oh man, this movie is something else.
Well, that's
And
wow. That's gracious.
yeah, so God, the way I understand it, the writer and director of this movie, Quentin Dupieux,
Debut.
however you want to say that. Hopefully, I got it somewhere close to
You
the
were
truth.
close.
Yeah, he's a filmmaker who's had mixed amounts of success. I understand that the movie that he put out previous to this didn't kind of flopped, and he made some different decisions with this one, like having it done in English, where
Right.
the previous film was done in French.
French. Yep.
Because after all, he appears to be a French writer and director.
Hmm.
Um, this is some crazy ass movie. I don't know. What were your first impressions of it, Don? I mean,
Oh man. I mean, let's face it. When this movie opens, I mean, you see a guy with a handful of binoculars. You don't know what's happening. You have no clue.
uh-huh.
Um, and I don't want to get into the opening with the lieutenant, because that is just the monologue is phenomenal with what he says. Um, but yeah, right out of the gate, I was like, "What the fuck? Like, just what is happening?" Like, and you know what? You know what really did it was the music. The music in this movie is bizarre. Not to say it's not good, but it's bizarre. Um, so I'm just kind of sitting there like, okay, I have no idea what's going to happen. Not not a clue. Um,
Yeah.
so I was confused when I first saw it. And then I watched it again today, and I was enlightened.
Well, I can't wait to hear that because confusion to me is the mark of this movie.
Yes,
Um, this is a movie that I don't think they want you to think makes sense at all.
I
They
don't think they
they
want you to think at all.
they tell you that it's completely random. That everything that you see in this movie is done as a homage to
Something else.
how random and for no reason things seem to be in life. So I mean, when it opens up, I mean, you you have a car driving down a lane in the desert. Why the desert? No idea.
No idea.
Um, there are several chairs placed up, and for whatever ridiculous reason, they decide to knock down every single
Every
one of
single one
these
of them.
chairs that somebody never put like pegs or glue or
Oh,
screws in or
those
something
I
like
have
that.
never seen. Those are some IKEA chairs.
Yeah, yeah, and they just didn't bother with the instructions, and they kind of just fitted them together and sat them there because every single one of them got knocked over. I don't know if the number of chairs that they knocked over equal the number of spectators,
That's what
but
I was thinking.
I would guess that they did. I didn't read anywhere that it did, and of course I didn't go back and count them and find out how many that we had. um,
I did not either, but I'm going to guess like 12.
yeah, and then they just kept doing things that seemed random or unexpected, that you wouldn't think that they would do, like, the guy who was driving the car did not get out of the car, the trunk popped open, and then a guy in a
all right. So you know what? Let's
yeah,
fuck it. Let's just bust into it because
yeah.
we gotta go through the monologue with the lieutenant who's
Mhm.
played by, is it Steven Spirella? I think it is
That sounds right. Spinella.
Spinella. So
Mhm.
right out of the gate, like Clint was saying, the car stops. Nobody gets out of the passenger side. Nobody gets out of the back seat. He gets out of the trunk
Mhm.
with a glass of water,
Well, he grabs that from the driver.
and then proceeds to walk up to the camera, stand
Mhm.
there, and give us pretty much the greatest monologue I've ever heard in a movie. You know, basically, why is the alien in ET brown?
Mhm.
Why is the pianist, you know, hiding away when he plays the piano so good?
Mhm.
Those are just, you know, a couple of them. What was the other one that he said?
Well, if you want, I can read you an
You can do.
excerpt
Are you
of
gonna do
it.
the whole thing? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Not the whole thing,
All
but
right.
a good chunk of it.
Okay.
So, in the Steven Spielberg movie E.T., why is the alien brown? No reason. In Love Story, why do the two characters fall madly in love with each other? No reason. In Oliver Stone's JFK, why is the president suddenly assassinated by some stranger? No reason.
Now again, I want to I want to let everyone know that was a real event. Like the way that he says it makes it sound
Right.
like it was just a movie. Like,
Right. Correct. In the excellent Chainsaw Massacre by Toby Hooper, why don't we see the characters go to the bathroom or wash their hands like people do in real life? Absolutely no reason. Worse, in The Pianist by Polanski, how come this guy has to hide and live like a bum when he plays the piano so well? Once again, the answer is no reason. If I could go on for hours with more examples, the list is endless. You probably never gave it a thought, but all great films, without exception, contain an important element of no reason. And you know why?
now tell me this: would you have watched the movie for an hour and a half with this was all it was? Because I would have. I would have.
Totally.
I would have been
Totally.
like, everything you've said up to this point, I
This
agree with.
seems like an unnecessary scene. You know, even the driver in the car is like, "Come on, don't explain that shit to him. We don't have time for that." And he's like, "Let me finish."
Yeah.
And one of my favorite ones is it was when he's like, "Why can't we see the air around us? No reason." It's like, "Why are we always thinking? No reason. Why do some people love sausages and other people hate sausages? No fucking reason."
And he gets very emotional with the sausage part. Like he's like, okay.
Yeah, I think he's a sausage lover. He probably orders his pizza with sausage on it.
Oh, he's a Peter Puffer probably. Like sausage to the extreme.
Interesting.
Yes, and then he proceeds to
dump out the water. He didn't drink it
and
climb back into the trunk.
And then just drive off.
Yeah.
And
you realize he wasn't really talking to us, the audience.
He was talking to a audience, but it wasn't us.
It was a group of spectators. So they let them know that what they were watching was a film, and it's basically a homage to all those things in life that are basically for no reason.
Right.
And that's when we get the business-looking fellow hand out the binoculars.
Then we have our wonderful Claire. Yes,
hello,
it's the
Claire.
Randy moment parody. 1,000%.
Exactly.
1,000%.
So Jack Plotnick, who basically plays an accountant, is handing out binoculars to all these people so that they can basically watch the movie that's supposedly being filmed before their eyes. And it seems they have no idea what kind of movie they're going to see.
No, in fact, I think one of them mentions, like, I don't see anything. Like, all I see is dust or dirt. Like, and up until this point, that is what you're saying.
Right.
And again, I don't know exactly how many people there were, but I wonder if we go back and count those chairs. Did they have a chair for the spectator that was in a wheelchair?
That's another interesting thing. See, now
anyway, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a lot of thought
because
this movie is not meant for it. So basically everybody's given a pair of binoculars to look at, like Clint said, a film that's supposedly taking place.
Yeah.
And
they're asking dumb questions up front, like, is this in black and white or
this
color?
is black and white color, yeah. Like,
and somebody said at one point, is this a silent film?
yeah, is this?
And they're like, no, listen to the wind. You can hear the wind, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody just out of nowhere is like, oh, I see something. There's a dump over there.
Yep.
Yep.
Like,
and so everybody focuses on the dump. So, I mean, that makes me wonder, by their non-knowledge of what they were looking for, did that determine what was happening in the movie? But
it's, again, that's the whole position of this movie is, you're trying to think like these people are.
Mm-hmm.
And when every time they show them, you're like, would I even still be here? Would I be doing this? Would, you really put yourself in their shoes and you're like, would I act like this? Would this be something that I would sit here and watch? And that's what's so funny about it is everything that's happening, they couldn't possibly see everything. Mm-hmm. If you really think about it, like they had the binoculars and whatever, but they couldn't have saw, obviously we'll get into it, the scenes later on. But that's what makes it so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they can see it flat out. And one of the scenes I can think of, we'll talk about, is the pool scene.
Right.
But yeah, so basically they all zoom in on his dump and we get our first look at Robert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Clint, what is Robert?
Robert is a discarded tire from a car, I guess.
What size tire is he?
I don't know. It looked like it belonged to a car, so it's probably going to have a 15-inch rim or smaller.
Okay. I just make sure that I threw that out there. So Robert stands up and starts rolling.
Yeah,
literally
falls over a couple of times.
He does. Like
he's got to get used to moving. Like
doesn't take him long though.
Like he's never done it on his own before.
Like he's wobbling, pretty much, And it's funny because it's like when you're driving a car or riding a bike, same thing. It's like when you have tires, and you're wobbling like when you're riding a bike, like you're not settled in, and you're just kind of going all over the place. Same thing with driving a car. You're not 100% comfortable, so you're kind of that's kind of what it reminded me of, and it was kind of weird that it was the tire doing it.
Yeah, or you take the training wheels off of a bicycle,
Bingo.
And you got to keep it upright on your own for the first time. So it's kind of like that. He was learning how to roll on his own. So, and I don't know if he was bored or if he already had a chip on his shoulder when he woke up in that dump, but everything that he encountered, he just wanted to destroy. So
now I want to throw this out there.
Okay.
The noise that this thing makes when it kills people, when it does its thing.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that that's like 90% of the noise that people use when either someone's head's about to explode or they have psychic powers? Like that rattle, like that bang.
I've noticed similar sounds used in movies with similar things happening. You know what it sounded like to me? Like cicadas or
exactly
locusts.
Like 1,000%.
Like right there before it happened, that sounded like, the rise of all those insects that are in the trees during the summertime,
Yep.
So we get to see him do that for the first time when he encounters something that he can't crush. So he crushes an empty water bottle.
Yep.
He crushes a scorpion.
A scorpion.
Yeah.
Now let's keep in mind, there was not a lot of momentum.
No.
So
not at all.
I don't know if he could have actually crushed a scorpion, but he did.
Yeah. Comes upon a empty beer bottle and just something doesn't work out. Like he tries to crush it. That doesn't work. Rolls over it.
Yep. He's like,
is confused. Backs over it.
Yep.
Still doesn't crush. then I can only assume that he gets angry, and then hyper focuses on this beer bottle, and we get the cicada sound, and it pops.
This is what I wanted to be able to do. I want to be
Right.
so hyper focused and angry.
Yeah.
That shit just blows up.
Yeah.
It's like scanners.
Yeah. Or Carrie, but it's a
Yeah.
tire.
Yeah, but it's see, you had to. God damn it, Clint. See, now you ruined it. Now you brought everybody back to reality of what we're talking about. Everybody was interested until you were said, but it's a tire. Actually, it makes it more interesting that it's a tire. Yeah.
The thing that they seem to be pushing is this thing has a personality. Like it's
well, and that's the thing is like as it gradually goes through the film, you can kind of see it. You know, it's funny because, and we'll talk about it. You know, it does things that, you know, normal people do or rednecks do or something else. You know, something else somebody else does. I mean, it has a personality.
Yeah.
Which makes it enjoyable.
Yeah. It's becoming aware. It's becoming familiar with its power.
Oh, well, that's not the only thing it becomes familiar with. It becomes familiar with a girl.
Right. So we get to see this thing do everything. We get to see it sleep. We get to see it drink water.
Drink water, yeah.
Yeah. We get to see it kill a rabbit.
And kill a crow.
Kill a crow. And then we get people peppered in, you know, with other parts of the story. I mean, like you've got a kid getting basically cussed out by his dad, and he told him go pick up a pizza. And don't forget the double topping.
First of all, let's get one thing straight. This is out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Where'd he go get that pizza? That's what I want to know.
Now look. There are places that has like Hunt's Pizza, Godfather Pizza.
Yeah.
But this place is in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
He didn't get a pizza. Not to mention that pizza box was. Whew.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you know what? All right, you know what? Let's sidetrack. So, how many times have you gotten food from a gas station that actually turned out really good? Never. Rarely.
Well,
not including Sheets. You and your quesarito, you bitch.
Yeah. If we're ruling out Sheets or Wawa, then I'm gonna say very few times.
well, never mind. I'm gonna retract my previous statement because now everything's out. No, so, Bo's Belly Barn, when it was in existence, they used to have the best potato wedges.
Okay.
Now, let's get one thing straight here. If you can fuck up a potato wedge, you should not cook food ever again. Ever again. Now, I'm not going to send Gordon Ramsay in there and say, hey, try this because it's the best potato wedge ever. But I'll go get those motherfuckers. Bullets, when Bullets was a thing, they used to have seasoned fries. Jesus Christ. They were incredible. Anyway, sorry. I just wanted to say that because, again, sometimes you can run into some good roadside food, gas station food now.
Yeah.
You know, food trucks.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, most of the good food that you get at like a gas station, especially one that's out of the way, is if somebody sets up in your parking lot or outside and they're doing their own little roadside thing, like barbecue chicken or something like that. You know, typically it's not happening on the inside of the gas station.
No.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody was outside, you know, with some roadside pizza. So I don't know where that kid went to get that pizza. I don't know, but I know where he got the second topping to make the double toppings.
Yeah, the crow that Robert blew up.
Yeah, Robert blew up the crow. And that kid, so pissed off at his dad, was like, I'll give you your double topping. Starts picking up little bits of the crow and throwing it on the pizza. This is after he blows by a hitchhiker. And, you know, I don't know why the hitchhiker was trying to hitchhike on his bicycle.
What
do you want him to do?
do?
He's like, you pedal, I'll sit on the seat.
Yeah,
like give me a ride.
And even still, like, you got a pizza, and then you're going to carry a hitchhiker. I want to see this kid steer. Like this kid's like what, 11, 12?
Yeah.
Let me see you steer. Even with a pizza, let me see you steer that bike. I would have won right in the fucking ditch. Just saying. No basket, no nothing. I'm going off the road. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so this is so the kid drives by on the bike and he sees Robert go in a hotel room 16. And he is adamant that this tire is alive.
Uh-huh.
And tries to explain it to his dad or whoever that is. And he's like, go, this is what prompts him to, go get a pizza.
Yeah.
And again, Robert kills people by making their heads explode. So, unfortunately, I think, what is it? The morning after, room service comes along.
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like we kind of left out the part where he saw the girl driving the car.
Well, yeah, and that's what we're doing. That's one of the things with the, how he becomes, I guess, I don't want to say infatuated, but she's around every time he's around. When he's at the hotel, she's at the hotel and everything like that. But yes, she's driving, what is it, a convertible, right?
Yeah, yeah. So he sees her drive by. He somehow uses his psionic powers to like stall out her car.
Sorry, yeah.
And you think she's gonna die.
Yeah.
And before we figure out anything about what he's actually doing, he gets hit by a pickup truck. Yeah. So knocked off the side of the road. Everybody goes on their merry way. She restarts her car. She drives off. So he starts rolling down the road again. And ultimately, he catches up with that dickhead in the pickup truck. And that guy doesn't get to leave the pumps at the gas station.
He gets his head. This is the first human casualty from Bob.
First head explosion.
No, I'm not calling him Bob because that's Hess Cemetery.
Yeah, Robert.
That's Cemetery.
Yeah, this is Robert. And it looks pretty good. Why does it look pretty good?
It looks great.
Yeah. Mostly, from what I read, they used practical effects on this movie. So, I mean, there may have been some CGI. But it was used sparingly. Most of the effects on this film were practical. So when you see a head explosion, that's an actual, dummy head getting blown up. You can kind of see it in some of the cut work done.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's not bad because the heads are very realistic and believable.
Well, the best thing about it is, and when we get to our reviews, which, by the way, wanted to say, so we're gonna rate this. In flat tires, we're going to give it a number of flat tires.
All right.
How many flat tires is this worth?
All right.
But I like the fact that you say that because the camera work in this movie is phenomenal.
It's beautiful.
That's one thing that I can say. If this has anything, it has phenomenal camera work because, and it goes without saying with other movies too, with practical effects. You can spin a camera around. You can make anything look good if you get the right shot, right angle, right lighting, everything. And this movie did it numerous times. And like you just said, a guy with a dummy head, it looked fantastic. It looked great. In fact, if the crow and the rabbit that he blew up were fake, they looked fantastic.
Yeah.
So kudos to the SFX artist and the camera work because I liked it.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. So I get a little bit lost on the complete timeline of this thing because I've only watched it twice and it's been months apart, so I don't remember exactly the flow of this movie. So did he show up at the motel first, or did we have the overnight scene first? I feel like we had an overnight scene first. Because we saw him asleep, he woke up, he drank the water, that type of thing.
Yeah, because he rolls through the puddle.
Yeah.
And then he rolls up at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're wrong, anybody can comment.
Yeah.
Or you can actually watch the movie.
Yeah. We won't do every single scene.
Yeah,
of this movie.
either way, at some point he winds up at the hotel.
Yeah.
and room
Somebody who
service.
just left their door open.
Yep.
So that
Left.
was the chick in the car.
She
got a
left the
room.
door open when she was in the shower, did she not?
Yes. She left the door cracked open. She got in the shower, and he's staring at her through the cracked open door. So
And, all right,
now,
here's timeout 1.
Yeah.
So now we get the spectators. Now we get,
Mhm.
and again, we don't want to leave those out because they're who they are. They're watching all this. So, the ones like, oh, she's not worth it. Her ass wasn't that great. Whatever. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, don't know what you're used to looking at.
I don't know
okay.
what you're. Yeah, I'm like, I would run down the hill. But yeah, so we get a glimpse of the spectators, and again, they're watching all this transpire. So everybody's like, "Why'd you leave the door open?" Yada yada yada. Oh, she got nice boobs, she got a nice ass. Whatever. But yeah, I mean, goddamn, dude, you're in a hotel and you leave the door open.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, she did fix that mistake, and she got out of the shower and she closed that door and knocked that tire right out in the street. Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so fast forward a little bit, and we get room service knocking at the door. Hey, anybody there? Walks in, and there's skid marks on the sheets, or tire residue, whatever you want to call it. And she's like, "Is anybody here? Anybody here?" And Robert's in the shower. Like, he's there. He's in the shower. And she decides to throw him outside, and he gets all dirty. Like, fuck, I just got a shower. You throw me out in the sand and the dirt, and I'm all dirty. Well, yeah, she pays for it. We find out later she gets her head exploded.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was a little confused as to whose room he was in also.
Yeah, was it his own room? Was it? Yeah, and they didn't build anything up to it. Like, did it show somebody paying for it? Did it? Yeah. How did it work?
I was wondering if maybe it was the accountant guy, because the accountant guy was staying in a nearby motel also.
Yeah, true.
And he takes a phone call at night while he's there. He's getting his clothes ready. He's shining
how
his
weird
shoes.
is that shit?
Yeah.
The master.
Yeah, standing there in his boxers, takes a phone call from the master. He's basically told to do something. He's like, I'll do it first thing tomorrow. Like he promised. Like, he didn't have a choice, so he was going to do it. And then you get the weird shit where, like, you see there's a live turkey in the corner of the room. He's standing there in his boxers. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here right now.
I was the same way. I was like,
it's kind of like they're implying that
something's going on
between him and this turkey. I don't know what's going on.
He's fucking turkey.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the early Thanksgiving for this guy. What are you stuffing the bird with?
And I didn't see a kitchen in the room either, but he pulls knives out of his bag.
Oh, he does.
And
oh shit! Is that what he feeds to everybody?
Yeah.
That's so.
He takes them a cooked turkey first thing in the morning, dumps it out. Robs somebody first. I think takes something out of their pocket. And then like dumps it out on the ground. He's just like, food. They all come, run into it.
How ravenous are these people? You see this? It's like, how long have they been there?
Well, I mean, there was at least one overnight, so you could say they were either on their second or third day.
Clint, me and you have stayed overnight places, and we haven't been. I didn't want to bite your foot off or eat your face off.
But they made it a point to let you know that there wasn't anything there to eat, because people were always like, "Oh, I'm hungry. You got anything to snack on?" Nobody had anything.
Right, and one chick's like, "Can I get some coffee and toast?"
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, coffee and toast is fucking nasty. Like, let's get that shit straight.
Depends who you are.
Well, you take a bite of toast and then drink coffee. That's just no. You better put some peanut butter or some apple butter on there, and then you can do it. If you're drinking coffee and eating plain ass toast,
right,
you got problems. You need to check yourself into a psychiatric ward. So we got to talk about the lieutenant, because the lieutenant. He's the one that makes everybody aware that this isn't real.
Right.
Basically they find the maid in the room and they wheel her out.
Yeah.
And he is hell bent on proving that it's all an act, it's all for the show. Tells the one guy to shoot him. He shoots him multiple times. He says to shake the corpse. She'll wake up. That doesn't happen.
No.
So everybody's under the impression that he's fucking loony. He fucking yanks his patch. He's like, it's fake. Takes his patch off, puts it back on for the sheriff's office. But that dude, that guy is amazing. Yeah. That guy's my hero in this movie.
Yeah, he tries to expose everything after he thinks that the setup is over, because everybody who was spectating this thing who ate the turkey is basically complaining of stomach problems.
Yep.
Next thing you know, they're all falling over dead from being poisoned. Because apparently the accountant guy poisoned the turkey that they all ate. And as they're dying, the dude in the wheelchair, Wings Hauer, is basically he's like, oh, they poisoned you. He's like, don't worry, they won't get away with it.
Yep.
He's like, I'm still watching the movie.
Yeah.
And so mistakenly, the Lieutenant Chad thinks that everybody's dead. He starts telling people to go home. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's like he's the only one basically behaving that this is a movie. Everybody else is confused by it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the motel owner who finds the body, tells his kid to get the tire out of the pool because it tried to drown itself.
Babe, slow down. Let's make sure we throw that out there. So
yeah,
the chick that Clint referred to earlier that the tire is infatuated with, she was in the pool.
She was in the pool.
She gets out of the pool,
staring at her longingly, like he wanted to talk to her.
And not to mention, she walked right by and didn't pay any mind. I would have seen a tire, sitting there upright. But anyway, I digress.
So I kind of got the impression that the tire got a little bit down on itself and sort of depressed because he rolled himself into the pool, and sank to the bottom.
And before the spectators, as Clint was alluding to, meet their untimely demise because they ate poisoned turkey. They had a debate, the dumbest debate in the history of movies. Okay.
Would a tire float?
Would a tire float? Clint, we don't even need only in the movies for this.
Yeah.
God damn it. The guy even tells you an inner tube.
Yeah. If it had an inner tube, it would float. But a tire itself.
Yeah, you know why? Because the inside.
Yeah, it doesn't hold air unless it's on a rim, and the bead is sealed. Exactly. Absolutely. You're right.
And here is my scientist. Here is my smart guy. Actually, if you didn't know that, you're a fucking retard anyway.
No.
Anyhow. A tire doesn't float. I'm sorry.
No.
You're not very smart if you didn't know that. Damn, I dropped the R word. Fuck.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm sorry. Sorry if I offended anyone. I take it back. But yeah, I mean, it sinks to the bottom. They have a conversation about it. And then they're like, is there a doctor? Is there a doctor in the house or a doctor around? And then somebody's smart ass and I was like, is there a physicist around to tell me if a tire will float? Wow, at this point, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
4 people already told you the tire is going to sink.
And
then everybody, like Clint said, everybody gets stomach pains and then boop.
Yep, they die. Yep, Lieutenant Chad lets the cat out of the bag, lets them know that, everybody's dead. There's no point in doing this anymore. Go home, And, he's telling people to shoot him.
Gets shot 3 times.
Tell him, shake the dead body. She'll wake up, all that. And they go all out, they do shoot at him and the squibs go off and stuff like that. And he's like, see, it's all fake. But then he has to backpedal because he finds out from the accountant guy that, oh, there's one guy still alive, and he's basically kind of like, ah, fuck. I guess we got to keep going, don't we? So he goes back and he tries to like backpedal everything he said to the motel owner, and like starts the interview process all over again. Oh, well, does she have any family? Has anybody been around? Trying to figure out a reason for her death. And it just feels very like his heart's definitely not in it. You could tell like he's super like bummed out that he still has to continue this storyline. He doesn't even know what he's doing from
it's
here.
Like, it's like an inconvenience.
Yeah. And is it around this time that the tire,
Robert?
Yeah, Robert.
He has a name.
I know. Well, only in the credits. They never mention it during the movie, but Robert, isn't it around this time that he basically sees a place that's burning tires?
Yeah, pretty much.
And he becomes insanely enraged and murderous. And the next thing you know, you're just seeing bodies dropped left and right with exploded heads.
Yep. He kills cops. He kills people. He kills everything in sight.
Yeah.
I want to. So this is in no way, shape, or form any kind of comparison to the movie I'm about to mention.
Okay.
But this had like Devil's Rejects, like vibes, like the way that it was all going down, like where they were, how it was transpiring, how it was perceived and filmed. It looked like Devil's Rejects. Now again, no way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Is this movie being compared to that? But just saying, like, with the dead bodies, and again, people's heads are exploding. Like they show a couple people's heads exploding here, and it's in glorious fashion.
Right.
But the whole hotel thing, especially when they go into the hotel room and they see the one chick's head just gone. It's like, oh shit, this is real deal now. But yeah, I don't know. I get okay. I'm gonna edit that. We're gonna edit that part out. No, I'm kidding. No, it's just the way that it just was like they're in a desert in the middle of nowhere. Yada yada yada. So so like you said, they get to a burning tire place.
Yeah, which sets this thing off. Like he's already upset that he's a tire and he can't interact with human beings on a meaningful level. Then he sees his own kind being destroyed, and he becomes enraged as much as a tire can be. Robert goes on a killing spree and kills a whole bunch of people.
Why wasn't his name Robert?
I don't know. I do not know. Why wasn't it Michelin? I don't know. But or Cooper.
Oh, shit.
Could have been Kumo, but then they would have had to pay somebody for that.
Pay somebody. Bingo.
Yeah. So so the cops, not knowing what else to do, track him down. They place I guess a bolo on him, be on the lookout for a tire. They give a description. They got a picture of the damn thing. Ultimately they track it down to a house. Yeah.
Where it's watching
TV.
NASCAR. Which
because why wouldn't it?
Because pit stops are like pornos to those tires. Look at them fine ass tires. They're just taking off and just saying. I mean, it's just sitting there in a chair watching NASCAR. It's fucking hilarious. So it's obviously killed the owners of the house.
Yeah. And just when you thought this movie couldn't get any crazier, they set a trap for it.
An elaborate trap.
Yes. Very elaborate trap. They're holed up in a van, with some sound equipment in it.
With the woman that this tire has been infatuated with the whole movie thus far.
Yeah, they brought her into the mix to convince her to speak to this tire and reason with it. But it's not her. They put a mannequin on the front porch, and they've got some dynamite strapped to it, and they put it in a slutty little outfit, and they got a speaker hanging around its neck, and she's talking into this microphone and trying to be seductive in her
Russian
broken
German
English.
accent. Yeah,
I don't know what
I don't know.
was.
I was
Could
like,
have been French for all I know. I couldn't
know, but
place
I'm like,
that accent.
I'm like, I find a lot of accents attractive. Whatever that was, I'm like, nope, not happening. Sorry.
Yeah, put a wig on Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's the kind of accent you got there.
I'm in. 1,000%.
100%. So
put a wig on Jackie Chan. I might masturbate later on that night.
Oh my God. Yeah. No kink shame. So the tire rolls outside, and she's talking to it through the speakers, and she's like, I don't know, come get me,
get me, yeah, like you bitch.
I know you want me, and
this was out of anything, this was the most like cringe-worthy part.
Yeah,
I'm like, why didn't somebody you had a female cop. That was my thing.
Yeah.
Like, you had a female cop right there. Why didn't you have her do it?
So
just saying,
out of nowhere, the guy in the wheelchair rolls up and he knocks on the back of the van. Nowhere.
Now again, just to rewind a little bit. Yeah. So the guy in the wheelchair obviously knows more than what everybody else does. So the guy that Clint's been talking about, the businessman, Jack Plotnick, that plays him.
Oh yeah, I skipped that part.
He falls for his own shit. He's like, oh, do you want some tuna tartare and yada yada yada. So he eats the food that he brought to him like a fucking idiot, and he dies just like the other people did with, I got stomach pain, and he gets poisoned, and then pretty much up to where we are now. Yeah. He rolls up in the wheelchair, and tries to
he talk
to this thing.
Yeah, he tells them that the scene that they're in makes no sense. Yeah, and it's like, what's with this elaborate trap? Why don't you just blow him up with a bazooka? Or a flamethrower, or something like that, And then they explain their complicated idea, about, well, the idea is that it rolls up to the mannequin and it triggers the explosion itself. It blows up from the dynamite, and I guess he tells them it's too complicated. They end up shutting the door on him, calling him an asshole.
Calling him an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Like,
so he's
trying to tell you what's happening.
Yeah. He rolls off to the side just to keep watching. And the tire is like, nah, I ain't falling for it. Goes back in the house.
Yep.
And, good old Lieutenant Chad,
with a shotgun.
Yeah, gets pissed off.
Now, here we go. Here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Now, I know it's a tire.
Yeah.
How much of that's going to bounce off of it?
I mean, if you're up close and you're not using birdshot, which I'm sure he wasn't, you could rip that thing up pretty good. Okay. It would take more than one shot, I think.
I think he shot it 3 times
to blow a tread off of it.
I think it was 3 times. If it's not, but I was the whole time I'm like, well, wouldn't Lieutenant Chad have gotten absolutely blasted with shrapnel because it would have bounced right back, being it's a fucking tire.
Yeah.
But I digress. It wasn't a Bigfoot tire, so
right.
It was just a Goodyear, whatever. I don't even know. Fuck, whatever. Yeah. Just trying to make a joke. Ha ha, funny, hee hee.
Yeah.
But he walks out with a fucking absolutely ravaged tire, the top of it is well, here's your fucking tire.
Yeah. Yep. And basically it's like, that's the end of it. And now. And next thing you know, rolling up to the doorway of the house is a tricycle. And that's when he utters the line, Jesus hey, wait, Christ. It's not the end. He's been reincarnated as a tricycle.
Verbatim.
Yeah.
Verbatim. And then we see the end of Wheelchair Guy.
He gets exploded.
Exploded. Yep. His head says goodbye. And then all of a sudden, We get a montage of the tricycle for the next 15 minutes rolling down the road, getting its cronies. You see all these tires come up and start rolling behind it.
Mhm.
And honestly,
And they roll right up to the edge of Hollywood.
yeah, right to Hollywood, you see
Yeah.
the
And
sign.
I'm told that the number of tires that were there was the same number as the number of spectators that they had.
That
But
makes sense. Makes sense. So you think those
again,
people?
I'd have to count them.
So you think those people went into the tires? Maybe.
Maybe.
Just saying.
Maybe. Their
Just saying.
spirits transferred. I don't know.
So anyway, after a couple more shots of the tricycle, we get credits,
Uh-huh.
and we get business suit guy standing there with Lieutenant Chad listening to his monologue,
Mhm.
and he gets in the trunk, drives away, and that's it.
Mhm.
That's rubber.
Yeah. So
Damn.
at face value, this movie doesn't make a lot of sense. Did you read anything extra into this film?
I didn't, and the reason I didn't, and I'm sure you did because I know how bunch of a research nerd you are. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. For what it was, up until the end, I had a good time with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was inventive. I thought it was, again, it's a tire that goes around exploding people's heads or killing rabbits and crows and whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, up until the point, it just at the end, it just felt like it was like, well, let's hurry up and get this done. Like this movie ran for an hour and 21 or 22 minutes. It was right where it needed to be.
Yeah. Just
But
to be a feature.
Yeah, it just felt, I don't know, like at the end, it felt like they kind of copped out. Like now it's a tricycle.
Mhm.
Are you ever going to do a sequel? But that's my thing. If this was never intended to be something more than this film, they should have never done that. It should have just ended when he went in there, threw the tire, and maybe the guy's head exploded because the tire was still intact, a little bit. But no reason for a tricycle because again, it was 2010. 13 years later, we don't
Yeah.
have anything. We have nothing.
Yeah. Well, I did watch a couple of reviews on this and dig a little deeper. And I feel like even though this was a nonsense movie at face value, I think in the end the writer and director Quentin Dupieux was trying to make some type of a statement about the film industry itself.
Mhm.
Like the take the accountant guy, he could more or less represent the business side of filmmaking. He gets a phone call, he just does what he's told.
That's what. Yep.
He's basically just told to do it faster. The person on the other end of the line, you never know who that is. That ghost caller could have been the film industry itself, executives, wanting you to pump out a product, wanting you to make some money, and I think the overall point was it doesn't matter what they package and give to you. You're going to eat what they put in front of you. Which is why most of the spectators, devoured the poison turkey, and they died as a result. But then there's one guy who didn't, because there's always one, right?
There's always a critic.
There's one critical thinking viewer. There's one person who's not biting or buying the story that you're trying to feed them. They question the story. They're searching for something more, and they're constantly asking for more. And in the end, even though we went on this crazy journey where they tried to change the story and they tried to give this guy more, basically just trying to wait it out. They're like, it's never going to end.
Right.
It's never going to end until you stop.
Exactly.
And ultimately what he was looking for was also pointless because they gave him a more interesting story and he still died. So, I don't know exactly what they were trying to tell us there. But I really feel like that's the direction they were going. They were trying to tell us something about the film industry itself. You know, I enjoyed this, even though it made zero sense whatsoever.
I'm not gonna debunk whatever you just said. I'm just gonna let that roll because it sounded phenomenal. Um, but I will back you up with the enjoyment level.
Mhm.
I had fun with this movie.
Mhm.
I sat down with it, and I knew going into it what to expect. I was like, I know this is a somebody's attempt to make a movie, and they did a great job with it. The camera work. I mean, the way that. So here's the thing. So the way that when me and Clint watch indie movies, there's a stylized aspect that goes to it. You can tell something when it's indie because of the quality of the filming. Like it's just the way that it moves, the way that it's filmed, the way that it comes across. This felt like this could have been in the movies. This could have been in the theaters.
Yeah.
The way that it looked, the way that it was filmed. And that's kudos to the team, with the camera work and the cinematography and the lighting. I mean, it's a well shot
Mhm.
movie, and again, um, you you never think of the tire being pulled on a string or anything like that. Like it's shot legitimately,
Mhm.
for what it is, and again, practical effects like Clint was talking about. Anybody that gets blown up, their head explodes, looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's not as grandiose as Scanners, but it
Mhm.
looks good. I mean, honestly, it's more realistic.
Yeah.
Um, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie, and whether or not it was to the scope that you just explained, I am there with you because of the way that they rolled up to Hollywood. You know, um, the masses. You have the leader, and then you have the followers. Um, it did feel like that. It felt like that was a message they were trying to throw out there. But overall, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was
Mhm.
enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that this movie was done on a low budget, um, just because the setting that it had, was very easy to achieve. Like we're talking desert,
Mhm.
talking about a roadside motel. We're talking about a house that they don't even go inside. You
Right.
know, the tire gets killed off screen. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So they didn't even bother to do that. They had a mannequin. They paid their actors. They had three vehicles. Well, okay, there was a few more if you count like the
Yeah, and plus
ambulance
plus
and
the
the
amount of
police
cops.
cars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plus the amount
yeah,
of cops. There was like how many cops were there?
yeah,
Two of them or one of them gets killed.
yeah,
I mean, like 5, 6 cops total.
yeah.
I mean,
Would
what
you?
there was like 11 people in this movie, or outside of the spectators.
Mhm.
There was like what 11 people in this movie, if
Something
that.
like that. Something like that.
Yeah,
Would you believe that this was about $800,000 to shoot?
yeah. I would, I
Yeah.
would, I would, and
Feels high
that's.
to me, actually. If I'm being honest, it feels
I
high.
mean, the only reason why I say that is because of where it is,
Mhm.
the amount of people,
Mhm.
and I think you paid your cameraman
Mhm.
and your cinematographer very, very well,
Yeah.
because outside of Lieutenant Chad, I don't know anybody in this movie. Did you? Wing Hauer?
Right.
But you're not going to pay somebody. Oh, let me give you 200,000. I'll give you 200,000, and the rest of it goes. I mean, that's my thing. Is I think this went to everything behind the scenes. This didn't go to actors.
Right.
It couldn't have, because again, you know, Wing Hauer was what he was like the Jaws shark. What, 5 minutes of screen time, maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
total.
Hmm.
I think it went towards behind the scenes. I think it went to cinematography, and that's what I think, because again, you never in a million years would have thought that
Mhm.
anybody was pulling a string when you're watching this. Even when the tricycle comes into play, it's
Mhm.
like if nobody was, you can't tell anybody's like, again, pulling strings. However they achieved whatever they did, you
Right.
couldn't see it, and that is kudos to the cinematography. So yeah, here's $500,000, boys. Go to town.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they spent money in places that, you know, they had to, probably for the effects. I would suspect that they spent a bit on post production. Like
Yeah,
with the amount of outdoor shots they had, there must have
right.
been an incredible amount of color correction they had to do to this thing to make it look as good as it did.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's the money was definitely used, and maybe they used some of her advertising. I have no idea, but
yeah. I'm with you on that one. 800,000. I mean,
mhm.
it is high, especially with the things that we've seen.
Yeah,
To this point. But again, I mean, you had all the outdoor scenes. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you had to pay people to shut off whatever. I mean, it was you had a couple spots where they were on a highway. I don't know what highway that is.
mhm.
Or like you said, the hotel, the gas station, the dump, location. Um, and we've heard from numerous people that location sometimes is the most expensive thing you can pay for in a movie.
Can be.
And do you have any kind of info of how many days or months this took to shoot?
Um, I did see that. I want to say they did it in like 12 days or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah. Now that we're talking about it, yeah, 800 grand seems that's kind of high. I
Seems
don't.
high for what they did. Yeah.
Well, again, I mean, and again, like I love the fact that you say post production. I mean, how many things did you have to correct? How many things you have to add? How
Yeah.
many times you have to bring people back?
Right.
That's the
Pay
one thing.
pay for a location twice. You
Exactly.
know. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. I didn't. I've seen worse.
Oh, definitely.
Seen
Definitely.
worse.
I've seen
Um,
worse movies with bigger budgets.
Boom. He said it, not
Yeah.
me. But I was where I
Exactly.
was going. So if we're gonna rate this, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, explain to me your rating system. You said we're going to rate it in flat tires.
Yeah, man.
What's our scale?
Flat tires. So it's just the number of, the higher the number, the better the rating. And
Okay.
I'm gonna give this 6 flat tires out of 10.
Okay. Okay. Um, 6 out of 10. So our
6
scale
out of
is of
10.
10. Okay. All right. So I can't. All right.
You can do
Um,
it.
yeah, we can. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 because I feel like I read a little bit more into this than what you're talking
We're right.
about.
I mean, we're right there though. We're
I
right
think we
there.
are. I think we
Yeah.
are. And I would definitely recommend somebody watch this movie at least once.
Oh,
See what
1,000%.
form your own opinions of
Yeah.
this.
I
You
will
know,
1,000% agree with that.
yeah,
Again, Clint watched it on Plex. I watched it on Tubi. I
yeah,
mean, it's free. I mean, the only thing you gotta have to do is you hit the back button and you're done.
Hmm.
You're not spending any money. But yeah, I mean, I can tell you it was enjoyable. It very much was enjoyable. Didn't think I was gonna get behind a tire and be like, oh, I really like this tire. I know his name, and that's pretty much it. But it was just enjoyable. Everybody had good chemistry for the spectators, and yeah, I mean, again, it's enjoyable. You owe
Hmm.
it to yourself to check it out again at least one time. If you watch it more than that, I might start to question your sanity. But one time, I'll definitely
Yeah.
tell you to do that.
And if you watch it and you hate it, I'd like to know that.
Yeah, or if you guys see something that we didn't notice, comment,
Yeah, an
tell us.
alternate theory. I would
Yeah,
love to know an alternate
what do
theory
you
on what the
think?
hell they were trying to accomplish with this movie.
Yeah, what do you think the overall grand scheme underlying thing was? We'd love to hear it. You can email us, HamityvilleHorror@gmail.com. You can post it on our Facebook group. You can post it here, wherever you want to, contact us. Trust me, we are not hard to find.
Mm-hmm. Damn right.
Damn right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else we're going to add?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, like I always say, don't let the bad ones ruin a good time. And that definitely includes this one.
Yep. And I hope you find movies that haunt you.
Mwah.
Have a
Love
good
you
night.
guys.
Good night.
Be back soon.